Regular season Toronto Blue Jays baseball is less than 2 weeks away, and folks, I'm starting to get excited. Whether it be a moonshot of a home run from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. or Chris Bassett absolutely dicing people, there have been several moments during this spring training that are definitely reason to get hopeful for this upcoming season. You may not necessarily believe it, but by the end of this video, I have a feeling that you are going to be itching to see what these Jays can do in 2024. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In this one, folks, we're going to be talking about these Toronto Blue Jays and how I am absolutely loving what I am seeing from these guys during the spring, especially from an offensive perspective. Before we get into it, I encourage you guys to hit the like and smash the subscribe button if you enjoy Blue Jays content and discussion so you don't miss any future videos. All right, folks, let's get into it. So before we even dive into why I'm starting to believe that this Toronto Blue Jays team and especially the offense is going to be exciting in 2024, we got to address the elephant in the room. Spring training stats don't matter. I already know that there's going to be some people commenting down below saying that spring training stats don't matter or anything that's happened up until this point is effectively irrelevant, which I agree with to an extent. Obviously, we can't take what they're doing in the Grapefruit League and just say that's what they're going to do in the regular season, because that would be ridiculous. However, I also don't think that we can just throw everything out the window, right? The way that they're swinging the bat, the approach that they have at the dish, and yes, the eventual stats that they rack up in the Grapefruit League, this is all a window into how well or not well they could at least start the regular season in 2024. And right now, I'm starting to think that we're going to have quite a few Toronto Blue Jays starting pretty hot. Looking over at the Blue Jays spring training stats, out of the players who have had at least 20 at-bats, the Jays currently have 10 guys with an OPS over 850. And we're not talking about a bunch of minor leaguers here. Bo Bichette, Ernie Clement, Dalton Varsho, Justin Turner, Alejandro Kirk, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., IKF, George Springer. All of these players currently have an OPS over 850, and they all are going to be playing massive roles with the team in 2024. So right now, the core is doing pretty well, but what does that actually mean? Are these numbers at least a little bit indicative as to how these guys are going to do this season? Well, to figure that out, I decided to look back at 2023. In the 2023 Grapefruit League, the Blue Jays weren't nearly as productive. Last year, the Jays definitely had a couple guys with at least 20 at-bats finish with an OPS higher than 850, but only 4 of them were starters. Those 4 guys were Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Kevin Kiermaier, and Whit Merrifield. And again, I don't know how much you can take away from this, but I do think that it's interesting to note that those 4 guys all had a very good first half and were especially good in April. And look, if the stats on the page aren't convincing you because, again, spring training, how about what they're doing with the actual baseball? Here was a recent hit from Vladdy where he waited on the breaking ball and then absolutely drilled it for 113 miles per hour off of the bat and 2 RBIs. In fact, pretty much all spring he's been destroying the baseball, and he's not the only one.
Whoa, time for your daily Betway breather. A quick reminder that the best place to bet is on Betway. Must be 19 years of age or older to play. In collaboration with iGaming Ontario, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
Bo Bichette, at the time of recording this video, currently leads the MLB in hard hit baseballs through spring training with 15. And speaking of Bo and Vlad, their swing right now doesn't have nearly as many holes as we're used to seeing. Both of them only have 5 strikeouts so far this spring, and other Blue Jays starters like Dalton Varsho, Alejandro Kirk, and George Springer, they all have less than that. Now look, I know that half of the pitchers that these guys are facing are minor leaguers and they are expected to do well, but at the same time, it's still good to see that they are actually doing well. Watching the Toronto Blue Jays offense last year was extremely tough, right? I mean, most games it was 1 or 2 runs, and whenever there was a runner in scoring position, it was frustrating as all holy hell. Now, I'm not about to overreact and say that that version of the Jays is completely gone because, again, we don't know. We're gonna have to watch the season and see how it develops, but I will say that right now, this team looks pretty damn good. Right now, they are hitting the ball hard, passing the baton, keeping innings alive, and when there's an RBI out there, a lot of times so far this spring, they're cashing it in, which is exactly why, for me, hope is starting to creep in that this offense in 2024, this Toronto Blue Jays offense, might finally be exciting to watch once again. There is still a lot of work to do and tons of baseball to play, but I like where this team is at right now. But folks, let me know what you think about all this in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.